Imagine losing her respect without even realizing it. Her texts slow down, she makes excuses to avoid seeing you, and when she finally does, there's distance. No passion, no spark. It's confusing and painful because you thought you were doing everything right. But here's the reality. What you see as caring or respectful, she sees as weakness. The subtle signs you've been ignoring have been slowly pushing her away. If you're tired of the ghosting, the rejection, the excuses and the pain, this is your wake-up call. Drop "no more weakness" in the comments if you're ready to hear the raw truth that no one else is telling you. Stick with me to the end and you'll understand exactly how to turn this around. This isn't about playing games or manipulating women. It's about understanding the natural instincts that have been hardwired into both men and women since the beginning of time. Women don't respect weakness. They respect strength. And the problem is that society has fed men a lie. Just be nice and she'll love you. But here's what they don't tell you. Being overly nice, overly available, and overly dependent on her approval kills attraction faster than you can imagine. It's not because women are heartless, it's because they're wired to seek men who can protect, lead, and stand firm in who they are. If you're ready to break free from the behaviors that are sabotaging your success with women, this video is for you. Every time you interact with a woman, she's subconsciously assessing your behavior. It's not about her being shallow or judgmental, it's survival instinct. In the past, her survival depended on choosing a man who was strong enough to protect her and provide for their family. That instinct hasn't disappeared. It's still there, driving her decisions on who she respects, who she desires, and who she dismisses. You might think she's pulling away for no reason, but trust me, there's always a reason. And if you don't understand what's triggering her loss of attraction, you'll keep making the same mistakes. Women pick up on the smallest cues. If you hesitate when making decisions, if you constantly ask for her approval, if you avoid confrontation, she sees it. She won't always tell you what's wrong, but her behavior will. Her body language will shift. Her tone will change. She'll become less affectionate. And before you know it, you'll be stuck in the dreaded "let's just be friends" zone, wondering what went wrong. Sign 1. Chasing validation. Chasing validation is one of the most destructive habits a man can have. It kills her respect, it kills her attraction, and it destroys any chance of being seen as the strong, confident man she desires. Women can smell insecurity like blood in the water, and when you're constantly asking for her opinion, her approval, or her reassurance, you're waving a giant red flag that says, "I don't trust myself." And let's be clear, when a woman sees that you don't trust yourself, she sure as hell won't trust you to lead, protect, or handle the challenges of life. Her respect for you starts to disappear piece by piece, and before you know it, she's pulling away without explanation. But the explanation is simple. You handed over your power the moment you let her validation become your fuel. Most men don't even realize they're doing it. They think they're just being considerate by asking her, "Is this okay?" or "What do you want to do tonight?" But the truth is, every time you rely on her for answers, you're eroding your authority in the relationship. You're telling her, "I'm not capable of leading this, so I'll defer to you." And while she might play along for a while, eventually her instincts will kick in, and she'll start to feel like she's in a relationship with a boy instead of a man. She may not say it outright, but her actions will show you. She'll start testing you, pulling back, giving you less attention, and you'll be left wondering what went wrong. What went wrong is that you made her the prize, instead of being the prize yourself. When you're constantly texting her, "Did I do something wrong?" or "Are you mad at me?" you're projecting insecurity. Women want a man who can stand on his own, not someone who crumbles the moment she seems distant. The truth is, women will pull back from time to time. It's natural. But how you respond to that distance determines whether she loses respect for you or comes running back. If you chase her, constantly seeking reassurance that she still likes you, she'll lose interest faster than you can imagine. But if you remain calm, focused on your mission, and give her space, you trigger a different response. Instead of seeing you as needy, she starts wondering why you're not chasing her. And that's when the power shifts. She begins to chase you. Think about the last time you felt the urge to double text her or ask if she's upset. Did it ever work? Did it ever make her more attracted to you? Or did it push her further away? The hard truth is, chasing validation doesn't make her feel secure. It makes her feel burdened. When you need her constant approval, you're placing a weight on her shoulders that she never asked to carry. It's exhausting for her, and eventually she'll drop it, and you, with no warning. The solution is simple, but not easy. Stop seeking external validation and start building internal confidence. When you make decisions based on what you believe is right, without worrying about her reaction, you regain your power. And guess what? Women respect that. They respect a man who doesn't need them to feel good about himself. They respect a man who can make decisions without second-guessing himself. The next time you're out on a date and you feel the urge to ask, "Do you think I should get the chicken or the steak?" Stop yourself. Make a choice and own it. It's not about the food, it's about the message you're sending. When you constantly defer to her, you're telling her that you lack direction. But when you confidently make a decision, even if it's something small, you're telling her that you trust yourself. And when you trust yourself, she'll trust you too. Confidence isn't something you can fake, it's something you cultivate through action. The more you make decisions without seeking her approval, the more you'll realize that you never needed her validation in the first place. And the irony is, the moment you stop needing it, she'll start giving it to you freely. Women are drawn to mystery and unpredictability. If she always knows exactly what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you're going to do next, she gets bored. But when you keep her guessing, when you maintain your independence and don't let her reactions dictate your actions, she stays intrigued. She starts to wonder what's going on in your mind, and that curiosity is what keeps her interested. If you're always available, always seeking her approval, and always trying to please her, she has nothing to wonder about. But when you pull back and focus on your own life, your own goals, and your own growth, she can't help but be drawn to you. The power dynamic shifts, and suddenly, she's the one chasing your validation, not the other way around. Stop chasing her. Stop chasing anyone's approval. The only validation you should be seeking is your own. When you wake up in the morning, look in the mirror and ask yourself, "Am I proud of who I am today?" If the answer is yes, you don't need anyone else to tell you that you're enough. And if the answer is no, then work on yourself until it's a yes. But never, and I mean never, hand over the key to your self-worth to someone else. The moment you do, you become a slave to their opinion, and nothing is more unattractive than a man who can't stand on his own. Sign 2. Avoiding confrontation. Avoiding confrontation is one of the biggest mistakes men make in relationships. You think you're being the nice guy by letting things slide, by keeping the peace, by avoiding arguments. But let me tell you something. Women don't respect men who can't stand up for themselves. They may appreciate your kindness at first, but over time, that kindness turns into weakness in their eyes. When you avoid confrontation, you're telling her that you're more afraid of her reaction than you are committed to your own standards. And that's when she starts to lose respect for you. Women test men. It's not a conscious thing, it's instinctual. They want to know if you're strong enough to handle them, to handle life, to handle challenges without breaking down. And one of the ways they test you is by pushing your boundaries. They'll show up late, cancel plans last minute, or say something disrespectful to see how you respond. If you let it slide, thinking you're being understanding, you fail the test. She might not say it out loud, but she's thinking, if he can't even stand up to me, how is he going to protect me when things get tough? And once that thought enters her mind, it's game over. Setting boundaries isn't about being controlling or aggressive. It's about showing her that you value yourself. If she's constantly late, tell her, I value my time, and if you can't respect it, we need to rethink this. If she belittles you in public, calmly pull her aside and say, I don't tolerate disrespect, and if this continues, I'm out. It's not about raising your voice or getting angry. It's about being firm, confident, and unshakable. Women are drawn to men who can enforce boundaries because it shows that you have a backbone. It shows that you're not afraid to walk away if you're not being treated the way you deserve. Think about it. When you let things slide, you're teaching her how to treat you. If you accept disrespect once, she'll do it again. If you tolerate being taken for granted, it'll become a pattern. And before you know it, you're in a relationship where you're constantly bending over backward to please her, while she's giving you less and less in return. The power dynamic shifts, and you're left feeling frustrated, resentful, and confused. But the truth is, you created that dynamic by avoiding confrontation. When you set boundaries, you're not only protecting yourself, you're also creating a relationship built on mutual respect. Women want to feel safe with you, but they can't feel safe with a man who doesn't respect himself. They want to know that if someone crosses a line, you'll step up and handle it. They want to know that you're strong enough to protect them emotionally and physically, and the only way to show them that strength is by standing up for yourself. The next time she tests you, don't avoid the conflict. Lean into it. Address the issue head-on, but do it with calm confidence. If she's worth your time, she'll respect you more for standing your ground. And if she's not, then you've just saved yourself from a relationship that would have drained you. Either way, you win. Sign 3. Oversharing weakness. A woman admires a man who can be open about his struggles, but only when that vulnerability is balanced by strength. There's a dangerous trap that so many men fall into, especially in today's world where we're encouraged to share our feelings and be open about our struggles without any limits. But here's the harsh truth. They don't tell you what happens when you cross the line from healthy vulnerability to emotional dumping. Oversharing your weakness doesn't just make her feel burdened, it makes her feel like she's with a man who can't handle life. And if you can't handle your own life, how can she trust you to handle hers? She may not say it to your face, but every time you unload your insecurities, you're eroding her attraction bit by bit. Eventually, she'll start to pull away, and you'll be left wondering why she's no longer as affectionate, why her texts seem cold, and why she's suddenly too busy to see you. It's not because she's heartless, it's because biologically and psychologically, women are wired to be drawn to strength. They want a man who can protect them, not just physically, but emotionally. When you expose every doubt, every fear, and every insecurity, you flip that dynamic upside down. Instead of being the rock she can lean on, you become the weight she has to carry. And no woman wants to feel like she's raising her partner. She wants a man who can face challenges head-on, not one who crumbles and looks to her for rescue. Think about this. You're on a date, and instead of creating a fun, engaging atmosphere, you start talking about how stressed you are at work, how you feel like a failure, how you don't know if you'll ever be good enough. You're thinking she'll appreciate your honesty, that opening up will bring you closer. But inside her mind, she's thinking, if he can't handle this, how will he handle the bigger challenges that life will throw at us? And as that thought settles in, her attraction fades. You might think you're connecting on a deeper level, but what you're really doing is pushing her away. Women crave vulnerability that's framed in strength. When you share your struggles, it shouldn't sound like you're drowning in them. It should sound like you're working through them, learning from them, and becoming better because of them. There's a difference between saying, "I hate my job and I feel stuck," and saying, "I'm facing challenges at work, but I'm actively improving my skills to get to the next level." One statement shows weakness, and the other shows resilience. Women don't want to fix you, they want to admire you. The moment she starts seeing you as a project is the moment she starts planning her exit. This doesn't mean you should bottle everything up and pretend like you're invincible. That's not strength, it's denial. True strength comes from acknowledging your challenges, but showing that you have the discipline and drive to overcome them. If you're going through a tough time, it's okay to mention it, but don't unload your emotional baggage on her. Share enough to be real, but not so much that she feels overwhelmed. Women love a man with depth, but they don't want to drown in your emotions. Men who overshare often do it because they're seeking emotional validation. They're hoping she'll comfort them, reassure them, and tell them that everything will be okay. But that's not her role, that's your role. As a man, you need to be your own source of reassurance. You need to face your demons, fight your battles, and emerge stronger without needing someone to hold your hand through every step. When she sees you handling your struggles like a warrior, she'll respect you more. And respect is the foundation of attraction. Without it, the relationship is doomed. The next time you feel the urge to pour out all your insecurities, pause. Ask yourself, am I sharing this because it's productive, or am I seeking her validation? If it's the latter, stop. Find a solution to your problem, and then share how you've taken action. Women don't want to hear you say, "I'm scared." They want to hear you say, "I was scared, but I found a way through it." That's the kind of vulnerability that turns her on, that makes her see you as a man she can rely on. When you lead with strength and follow up with vulnerability, you create a balance that draws her in. She feels safe knowing that you can handle your emotions without being controlled by them. She sees you as a man who's in control of his life, even when things get tough. And that's the kind of man she won't just respect, she'll desire. Sign 4. Overcompensating to impress. Overcompensating is the death of authentic attraction. The moment you start bragging, flexing, or exaggerating your achievements, you're telling her one thing: I'm not enough as I am, so I need to show off to make up for it. Women can see through this behavior instantly, and it's an instant turn-off. When you constantly talk about how much money you make, how many connections you have, or how amazing your life is, you're not showing confidence, you're showing insecurity. And nothing kills attraction faster than a man who's insecure about his worth. Confidence is quiet. It doesn't need to be announced. It's felt in the way you carry yourself, in the way you speak, and in the way you act. A truly confident man doesn't need to tell her he's successful. She can see it in his demeanor. He doesn't need to list his accomplishments. His presence is enough. When you overcompensate, you're trying to fill a void that only self-respect can fill. No amount of bragging will ever make you feel secure if you don't believe in your own value. Think about this. You're on a date, and instead of getting to know her, you're talking about your latest promotion, the expensive car you just bought, or the exclusive club you're a member of. You think you're impressing her, but in her mind, she's thinking, why is he trying so hard to prove himself? The harder you try to impress her, the less impressed she becomes. Women are drawn to men who are comfortable in their own skin, who don't need external validation to feel good about themselves. If you have to convince her of your worth, you've already lost. Overcompensating doesn't just apply to material things. It also shows up in how you talk about your past relationships, your social status, or even your fitness achievements. If you're constantly dropping hints about how many women you've dated or how much you bench press, you're signaling that you base your value on external factors. But what happens when those factors disappear? What happens if you lose your job, your money, or your social circle? If your worth is tied to those things, you'll crumble, and women know this. That's why they're not impressed by what you have. They're impressed by who you are. The key to stopping this destructive habit is to focus on becoming a man you're proud of, not a man who seeks others' approval. When you wake up in the morning, ask yourself, am I living a life that I respect? If the answer is yes, you don't need to brag about it. If the answer is no, then work on yourself until it's a yes. But never try to cover up your insecurities with empty words. Women respect action, not talk. They respect men who let their achievements speak for themselves. The next time you feel the urge to brag, hold back. Let your actions do the talking. If you're successful, she'll notice without you saying a word. If you're confident, it'll show in the way you carry yourself. If you're secure in who you are, she'll feel it. You don't need to prove anything to her. Your presence is enough. And when you truly believe that, she won't just be impressed. She'll be hooked. Sign 5. Emotional outbursts. Losing control of your emotions is the fastest way to lose her respect. When a man can't control his temper, when he lashes out over small frustrations or breaks down under pressure, a woman's instinct kicks in and tells her this man is weak. And once that instinct is triggered, there's no going back. You might think showing raw emotion will make her see how deeply you feel things, but what she's really thinking is, if he can't handle this, how will he handle the bigger problems in life? And don't think she'll tell you this directly. She won't. She'll withdraw, she'll stop being as affectionate, and eventually she'll start looking for a man who can handle life without falling apart. Women crave stability, and emotional instability is a massive red flag. Think about what happens when you lose your temper during an argument. She says something that triggers you, and instead of responding with calm authority, you raise your voice, get defensive, or even worse, start throwing accusations at her. What you're showing her in that moment isn't strength, it's weakness. It's a lack of emotional discipline. And make no mistake, women are constantly observing how you handle conflict because they're wired to seek a partner who can stay composed under pressure. If you crumble during a simple disagreement, what does that say about your ability to handle real-life challenges? Imagine you're out on a date and something doesn't go as planned. Maybe the restaurant messes up your order, or you get stuck in traffic, and instead of staying calm, you let it ruin the evening. You start complaining, getting frustrated, and making a big deal out of something that shouldn't even matter. She might smile and nod to keep the peace, but inside she's thinking, this is the guy I'm supposed to trust when life gets tough. The truth is, women don't expect perfection. They expect composure. They want a man who can navigate obstacles without losing his cool. When you stay calm, even when things go wrong, you're showing her that you can be her rock. But when you let minor inconveniences trigger an emotional outburst, you're showing her that you're unreliable. Control is everything. If you can control your emotions, you control the situation. When she tests you, because trust me, women will test you, it's not to be cruel, it's to see if you're the kind of man who can handle her. She might provoke you, challenge you, or say something that triggers an emotional response just to see if you can remain grounded. And if you fail that test by reacting impulsively, she loses a little bit of respect for you each time. But when you pass that test by staying calm and collected, she sees you as someone she can rely on. Someone who won't panic when life throws challenges your way. Someone who can lead. Men who can't control their emotions often blame the woman, saying, she's too emotional, or she's always pushing my buttons. But here's the truth. It's not her job to manage your reactions. It's yours. Emotional discipline is a skill, And if you don't have it, you're sabotaging your relationships without even realizing it. The next time you feel yourself getting triggered, take a breath. Pause. Ask yourself if reacting emotionally will solve the problem or make it worse. 9 times out of 10, it'll make it worse. The man who stays calm under pressure wins not just in relationships, but in life. When you can master your emotions, you become the kind of man women crave. You become the man who can navigate chaos without flinching, who can handle her emotional storms without getting swept away. And that's the man she'll respect, desire, and commit to. So, remember this. Strength isn't about never feeling emotions. It's about controlling how you express them. Sign 6. Ignoring self-improvement. If you're not growing, you're dying. That's not just a motivational quote, it's reality. Women are biologically programmed to be attracted to men who are constantly evolving. It's not just about having muscles or a fat bank account. It's about your mindset, your ambition, and your drive to become better every single day. If you've been coasting through life, stuck in the same job, the same routine, with the same mindset, she's already noticing. She may not say it out loud, but inside she's thinking, is this the man I'm supposed to build a future with? Women want to be with a man who's going somewhere, who's constantly striving to reach new heights. If you're standing still, she's already looking for the exit. Think about it. When you first start dating, everything feels exciting because you're new to each other. But what happens when the honeymoon phase ends and she starts to see the real you? If you've got no goals, no plans, and no ambition beyond your day-to-day routine, she'll lose interest faster than you can blink. Women don't just fall in love with who you are, they fall in love with who you're becoming. If you're not growing, she's not staying. It's that simple. Self-improvement isn't just about going to the gym, although physical fitness is important. It's about mental, emotional, and financial growth. Are you learning new skills? Are you reading books that expand your mind? Are you improving your emotional intelligence so you can handle conflicts without blowing up? If the answer is no, you're making yourself replaceable. Because while you're staying stagnant, there's another man out there who's working on himself, leveling up, and becoming the kind of man she dreams about. Don't let that man be the reason she leaves you. The harsh truth is that women won't wait for you to get your act together. They'll give you signals. They'll drop hints about wanting you to be more ambitious or more focused. But if you ignore those hints, they'll move on. And once they're gone, it's nearly impossible to get them back. The solution is simple. Make self-improvement a non-negotiable part of your life. Set goals and work toward them relentlessly, not for her, but for you. When you become a man who's constantly improving, you naturally attract women because you embody the qualities they crave: confidence, discipline, and purpose. Women want to be part of a man's journey, but they don't want to carry him on their back. If you're expecting her to be the motivation for your growth, you're already failing. She's not there to push you. She's there to witness your progress and support you along the way. When she sees you chasing your dreams, taking risks, and overcoming obstacles, she feels inspired. She feels proud to be with a man who doesn't settle for mediocrity. But when she sees you playing video games all day, complaining about your job, and making excuses for why you're not where you want to be, she feels trapped. She feels like she's wasting her time with someone who isn't going anywhere. The key to self-improvement is consistency. You don't have to be perfect, but you do have to be committed. Even small incremental progress can make a huge difference. The man who reads 1 book a month, who wakes up 30 minutes earlier to work on his side hustle, who hits the gym 3 times a week, that's the man who wins. That's the man women respect and admire. When you make self-improvement a lifestyle, you don't just become attractive to women, you become unstoppable. You gain confidence because you know you're working towards something meaningful. You gain discipline because you've built the habit of showing up, even when you don't feel like it. And that confidence and discipline radiate from you in everything you do, making you magnetic to women. Sign 7. Being too available. When you're always available, you lose your value. Scarcity creates demand, and if you're constantly at her beck and call, you're telling her that you have nothing else going on in your life. And let's be honest, who's attracted to a man with no purpose? Women want a man who's busy building his empire, not someone who's sitting by the phone waiting for her text. The moment you make her your priority over everything else, you become predictable, and predictability is the enemy of attraction. Think about this. She texts you, and you respond within seconds every single time. She asks to hang out, and you cancel your plans to accommodate her. At first, she might appreciate the attention, but eventually she'll start to feel suffocated. Why? Because deep down, she doesn't want to be the center of your universe. She wants to be part of a man's universe that's already thriving. When you're too available, you're telling her that you don't value your time. And if you don't value your time, why should she? The most attractive men are the ones who have their own goals, their own passions, and their own lives. They don't drop everything for a woman because they understand that their mission comes first. And ironically, the more you focus on your mission, the more she'll chase you. Create distance. Not as a game, but as a natural byproduct of being a man who's busy with his own life. When you prioritize your goals, your growth, and your success, you naturally become less available. And that scarcity makes her crave your attention. She starts wondering what you're up to, why you're not always available, and how she can get more of your time. That's the power of being a man with a mission. Don't be the guy who's always waiting around for her. Be the guy who's so focused on his purpose that she has to fight for a spot in your life. That's the man she won't take for granted. That's the man she'll respect. These 7 signs are killing your success with women, but the good news is you can fix them. It's not about changing who you are, it's about becoming the best version of yourself. If you're ready to make that change, drop "no more weakness" in the comments and subscribe to this channel. Supporting us helps more men discover this life-changing content and pushes you to level up in ways you never imagined. Women respect strength. Be that strength.